The Borgias may have been one of the most infamous noble families in Italy, and their name is now synonymous with debauchery and immorality. They are constantly at the center of various scandals and have gone down in history as lecherous and treacherous. Today, many historians argue that their reputation may have been largely underserved and cite motives such as anti-Spanish propaganda as the cause for their persistent rumors. Keep watching as we take a look at 9 scandals that define the House of Borgia. Number 1. Rodrigo Borgia's time as Pope. Rodrigo was not the first pope to come from the Borgia family. His uncle, Alonso de Borgia, had supervised Rodrigo's spiritual education before making him a cardinal when Alonso took the title of Pope Calixtus III in 1456. In 1492, Rodrigo was nominated as pope, becoming Pope Alexander VI. He soon followed his uncle's example by instating members of his own family into prominent positions within the church, including making his teenage son, Cesare, a cardinal. His papacy was plagued by scandals and criticism, including rumors that he had been made pope through bribery. There was a criticism of his blatant nepotism and his money-making scams, which included the selling of religious pardons for sins, as well as claims that he had held lavish and debauched orgies in the Vatican. One persistent claim was that a salacious banquet was held in the papal palace, dubbed the Banquet of Chestnuts. It is said to have been held in Cesare's chambers. Guests attended it, including Rodrigo's daughter and Cesare's sister Lucrezia, who partied alongside 50 honest prostitutes. During dinner, the guests were entertained by naked dancing courtesans. Afterward, candelabras were placed on the floor, which was strewn with chestnuts. The naked prostitutes crawled around on their hands and knees, picking up the chestnuts to the apparent delight of the crowd. The party ended with prizes for those who could have sex with the most prostitutes. This account of the Banquet of Chestnuts has been disputed, although it is widely recognized that Pope Alexander VI was a man who indulged in his sexual appetites. He fathered multiple illegitimate children and conducted an affair with a teenage girl named Giulia Farnese when he was in his late 50s. However, Rodrigo's sexual behavior was not unusual for the time, even for a pope. Furthermore, Rodrigo's obvious desire to use the position of pope to further his and his family's ambitions was not uncommon during the Renaissance. The actions of Rodrigo and others in the church would lead to the Protestant Reformation in 1517, and this shift in perspective may have led to further exaggerations of Rodrigo's scandalous reputation. Number 2. Rodrigo publicly recognized his children, even the illegitimate ones. The scandal that perhaps would have been most shocking to Renaissance Italy is that Rodrigo publicly acknowledged his children and even indulged his illegitimate offspring, giving them prominent positions within society and the church. The four most notable of his children, Cesare, Juan, Geoffrey, and Lucrezia, were the product of his relationship with his mistress, Vannozza di Catane. While many previous popes were married and illegitimate children were not uncommon, promoting and supporting them was. Rodrigo seemed to be determined to start a dynasty and used his children as tools to further the influence of the family through political marriages and appointments to prominent positions. Cesare was appointed as a cardinal, while Juan was made the Duke of Gandia and married Maria Enriquez, the cousin of King Ferdinand IV, in an attempt to gain both ecclesiastical and secular power. Geoffrey was married to the granddaughter of the King of Naples, Sancha, and Lucrezia went through a series of strategic marriages. Some historians theorize that the speed at which the Borgias tried to climb the Italian social ladder is another reason the rumor mill targeted them. Not only were they from Spain, but they were blatantly and hastily attempting to establish themselves in positions of power. At the same time, other Italian families limited their ambitions and were content to play the long game. Number 3. Cesare murdered his brother. The story goes that in 1497, Juan Borgia went missing after attending a dinner party hosted by his mother. Strangely, he insisted on journeying home alone, although the others in attendance assumed he was meeting up with a woman as he was conducting numerous illicit affairs. The belief that he was engaged in a romantic liaison meant that when Juan was not at home the following morning, no one was unduly surprised. However, when he did not reappear by the next evening, his father grew worried. Some days later, a timber merchant recalled seeing a group of men accompanying a rider on a horse who had a body slung across the saddle. The body was thrown into the Tiber River, and men threw rocks at it until it sank. Rodrigo ordered the river to be searched, and Juan's body was found with 9 stab wounds, but his purse was still attached to his belt, ruling out robbery as a motive. Although at first Rodrigo seemed determined to find the culprit, the search was called off before any suspects could be found. The abrupt end to the investigation began rumors circulating about possible suspects that may have, quite literally, been able to get away with murder. After all, the Borgias were not the most forgiving bunch and had been known to maim or kill people for merely insulting a member of the family. Some among the community pointed their finger at his brother, Cesare. The two were thought to have had a bitter rivalry, with Cesare longing for his brother's military career over the priesthood to which he had been assigned. When Cesare was allowed to give up his cardinalate in 1498, this seemed to confirm the suspicions. In truth, there is no evidence that Cesare was responsible for his brother's death. Juan had made many enemies, and the Borgias were not exactly popular among the noble families of Italy. It seems much more likely that he was killed by a jealous husband or one of the many families that had a vendetta against the Borgias. Number 4. Giovanni Borgia was a product of incest. In 1501, Rodrigo, as Pope Alexander VI, issued 2 papal bulls declaring the parentage of a 3-year-old boy named Giovanni Borgia. The first claimed that the boy was the son of Cesare and an unnamed unmarried woman. The second declaration stated that Giovanni was Rodrigo's son. Naturally, this mystery behind Giovanni's lineage sent the Italian rumor mill into a spin. Among the speculation was that the child was a product of Rodrigo's affair with the much younger and married Giulia Farnese. Another prominent rumor was that the mother was Lucrezia Borgia. There were already stories that Lucrezia had sexual relations with her brothers and her father, so many believed that Giovanni was the product of incest and that either Cesare or Rodrigo had fathered the child with Lucrezia. Number 5. Strategic murders. The Borgias were accused of a whole host of strategic murders that would help them further their position. Although there is no comprehensive list of those killed by the Borgias, many political rivals were assumed to have been taken out of the picture by them. People who were inconvenient to the family tended to turn up dead. One such person was Pedro Calderon, who was said to have been having an affair with Lucrezia at the time her father annulled her first marriage for non-consummation in 1497. Rumor had it that Lucrezia was pregnant with his child at the time of the annulment, and his body, along with the body of one of Lucrezia's maids, was found in the river Tiber in 1498. Strangely, no one postulated that Giovanni, the young boy Rodrigo named as his own, may have actually been a product of Lucrezia's affair with Pedro. Another prominent figure to meet his end at the hands of the Borgias was Prince Alfonso of Aragon. He too was wed to Lucrezia in order to strengthen the Borgias' ties to Naples, but he was soon surplus to requirements. In 1500, he was wounded in an attempted assassination outside St. Peter's, only to be later strangled by one of Cesare's servants while recovering in the Borgia Tower. Number 6. Lucrezia Borgia's skill at poisoning rivals. Although Lucrezia was never accused of murdering her lovers or husbands, she was still painted as a skilled and vindictive killer. According to legends, she was an expert at using poison rings, a hollow ring in which a portion of poison is kept that can be deposited into a person's drink. It was said that Lucrezia had a talent and a taste for poisoning the family's political rivals. However, most historians agree that this was nothing more than salacious gossip. Experts have pointed out that not only is disguising the taste of a powerful poison very difficult, but fitting a dose large enough to be fatal into a ring would be extremely difficult. Number 7. Joffrey's fiancée had sex with other members of the Borgia family. Sticking to the theme of sexual depravity, when Joffrey was betrothed to the King of Naples' daughter, Sancha of Aragon, sister of Alfonso, in 1494, gossip abounded. It was said that before the marriage was agreed, Sancha had to visit the private chambers of Cesare and Rodrigo in order to get their seal of approval. Rumor also has it that Sancha had an affair with Juan, which some cited as the reason Juan was killed. Although the rumors of her explicit liaisons were never proven, Sancha's life with the Borgias was pretty turbulent. After her brother Alfonso was killed, she was imprisoned in Rome until after Rodrigo's death. Once she regained her freedom, she left for her home country of Naples, taking with her Lucrezia and Alfonso's son Rodrigo. Later, at the request of Cesare, she became a ward of Giovanni, the boy whose parentage was so disputed. Number 8. Cesare Borgia was particularly sadistic. Although they were the targets of Italian gossip, the rumors were not completely without cause. Cesare Borgia may have been accused of a murder he didn't commit, but there were plenty of murders that he undoubtedly had a hand in. Cesare was ruthless and sadistic, using inmates for target practice and supposedly cutting out a satirical writer's tongue after the writer mocked him. In 1499, he ordered the assassination or execution of the Spanish constable of the guard, soldier Juan Borgia, and the bishop of Ceuta. He butchered 3 of his senior commanders who were plotting against him and is said to be responsible for the deaths of many others. Yet his ruthless ambition was not completely unexpected at the time, and a few of his contemporaries committed acts that made Cesare seem almost restrained in comparison. Number 9. Their supposed royal ancestor actually died childless. There is no doubt of the Borgias' passionate ambition for greatness. Not content with religious supremacy, the family was keen to establish royal ties. They chose to link themselves to Pedro de Atares, who, although distinctively royal, never actually became king. This lineage allowed them to use the double crown of Aragon in their coat of arms and facilitated Lucrezia's doomed marriage to Alfonso of Aragon. The only problem was that Pedro de Atares had actually died childless and therefore left no descendants. This fact led to various accusations about their true heritage, including suggestions they had Jewish ancestry in an attempt to undermine the validity of the Borgia popes. How would you like to get a deeper understanding of history, impress your friends, and predict the future more accurately based on past events? If this sounds like something you might be into, then check out the brand new Captivating History Book Club by clicking the first link in the description. To learn more about the Borgias, check out our book, House of Borgia, a captivating guide to the Borgias and their feuds with the Medici family, Sforza Dynasty, and Girolamo Savonarola. It's available as an ebook, paperback, and audiobook. Also, grab your free mythology bundle ebook while it's still available. All links are in the description. If you found the video captivating, please hit the like button and subscribe for more videos like this.